I want to make a card game, and I've been thinking it'd be really fun to kind of bring people along in that journey as I come up with something. As you've seen in my last video, I've tried this a few times, not publicly, but I've made a few games. Didn't love how they turned out. The design I'm really happy with, but I just never really clicked on the gameplay, and so that's where we're starting. I want to test out some ideas and kind of start from scratch on something and develop it one episode at a time. So I've been thinking, how do I make a game that is geared towards parents and kids, but not the same experience for both? Because I find when I sit down with my 6-year-old daughter that games are either made for her age or my age. And yes, of course there's a satisfaction in seeing kids get enjoyment out of a game that is geared for them. But it's never something that I want to continually go to as the parent. It's tough to find games that both of us really enjoy. So how do we do it? I don't know yet. So funny enough, I was explaining another concept that I had to my wife, and then mid-sentence, I kind of started to veer into this other idea, which is, I think, the direction that I want to go. And that is, parents should be the evil villain creating and crafting their secret evil plan, and then the kids are the superheroes trying to dismantle and foil it. And that alone was able to kind of get the ball rolling towards something that I think is actually pretty fun. Conceptually, there's opportunity for humor. So I think that's kind of the foundation of the idea. And I know that I'm starting very concept heavy, theme focused, rather than mechanic focused. I think what I've been learning to do though is take that theme and use it as a jumping off point into mechanics, but then not jumping back onto the theme and doing the design first, staying really focused on the mechanics and just like, what is fun here? And so now it is time to start cutting up pieces of paper and writing on them. So I think the first thing is we have to make the evil plan for the parents, because I think that will be the overall structure that then will be kind of disrupted by the kid. And these are different phases of the evil plan that all contribute to like global domination or something like that. So let's say that this first one is turn all cats into alligators. Pretty evil, right? So what I'm trying to come up with is concepts that a kid would find hilarious and also evil enough that they'd want to stop. And so let's say that this was part of my evil plan number 1, and then maybe the next one is, what if it is like break all pairs of glasses? That's kind of mean. No, I don't think we want to do that. Okay, we need another one. Let's say the next one is, how about just something, these are just temporary at least anyways. Make all milk sour. Gross. Okay, so let's say that eventually the parent, lays out their 5-part world domination plan. Something that I've been thinking about is that they probably need to be face down, so pretend like you can't see through that. And that way it's like their secret evil plan, because I think there's got to be kind of an element of discovery going on for the kids. Now, how do I actually enable these plans? I think my thought has been that they cost different amounts. So let's say there is this is a category of henchmen, and it is a picture of a henchman, and his name is Igor. And so certain things like turn all cats into alligators costs a certain amount of henchmen. And so, maybe it's another guy named George. Let's just go basic for now. So I've got George and I've got Igor, and as I'm playing on turn all cats into alligators. Let's say this costs 2 henchmen. And so the parent is building their hand over here. Meanwhile, the kid is also building their hand, and they're over here trying to figure out how to stop me. And then for my turn, I say, all right, I'm going to play George the henchman on this phase or evil plan phase or something like that. Meanwhile, and I think this might be where we need to pivot to what the kid is doing. One of the obvious decisions that I have to make along this path in order to make a game for a kid is decide what age those kids are going to be. And initially I was thinking it'd be great if it could just be all symbols and basic images that kids could interpret and not need any text. But what I've realized is that takes out a lot of the opportunity for the narrative and the jokes and the things that I think older kids would find funny and engaging. So where I've landed is I think it needs to be geared towards kids that can read. But having said that, I don't want to just stuff every card with flavor text or excessive rules or anything like that. So what I've been thinking is I should make it as simple as possible. Okay, so that was kind of a helpful decision to make. Kids can read. Now thinking through what's on the other side, what are they working on? So let's flip this so I can kind of get into their headspace here. So I'm over here as a kid and I'm seeing this stacking up of henchmen and I'm trying to foil that plan. Right now I don't even know what that plan is, but I am trying to foil it before it comes into fruition. And I don't know if you know, they reach that to henchmen and then they flip it and that seals it, or if there's going to be any sort of like confrontation in the midst of that. But let's say for right now, the plan is upside down and I'm seeing these henchmen get built. You know, let's say there's only one at the moment, and now I'm trying to stop it. It could be really simple and just the kid has different abilities and powers that remove cards. You know, like the parent is adding cards to their evil plan, the kid is removing cards from their evil plan. I think that's a bit too simple, and I think that, you know, I want to see kids get a little bit more creative with their ability to respond and kind of plan and get ahead of them. So for experimentation's sake, let's say remove henchman. So now the kid is seeing a henchman added. They play the card, remove one henchman, boom, George is gone. And maybe, you know, we come up with a funny concept for this, like super strength. One other thought too is, what if the kids' abilities stack up here and then they can continue to do that thing? So then the next turn the parent plays Igor, and let's say this is already out there, the kid can say, all right, I want Igor to be super strongly handled and removed again. But let's say maybe the kid can only have 3 abilities out at one time. That kind of creates some limit. We have to consider how many cards the kids can hold in their hands, as well as keep in their minds on the table as well. So I wonder about, you know, super strength being here. So maybe there could also be another card that's X-ray vision, and that reveals one plan. So the kid can play that card. You know, maybe the kid gets to choose, I want to reveal this one, turn all cats into alligators. From there, now what? So if that's the route that we want to go so far, I think then what I want to do is hone back in on the evil plan and all that it takes to accomplish that. I think what we need to do is come up with the different categories of resources that get added to the evil plan. And so we've got henchmen. I think it would be kind of funny if it was billions of dollars. So it costs, you know, like maybe make all milk sour costs $3 billion, and you can get 1 billion, and you just kind of keep collecting your billions of dollars. 1 billion, and so that gets added. That's part of your deck. And so you're dropping them here. So we've got billions of dollars, henchmen. What else do evil villains have? Maybe there's inventions that do different things, say shrink ray. And what does that do? I don't know. I've got the evil plans, I've got some of the resources, and then I've got how the kid is combating that. So that's where I'm at so far. I think the next step is going to be taking all these initial concepts and like taxonomies and categories of the cards and expanding them into other examples so that I can actually build a little bit of a deck that then can be used for playtesting and experimentation. And I will definitely be showing my daughter because I have to actually start testing this with my audience along the way, making sure that it actually aligns with them. So in the next video, I think where I'll be at is I'll have a big stack of these blank pages filled out, and we'll have more concepts to start to actually test, and maybe I'll even get some footage of us playing it and we can kind of see where it goes from there. And if you have any funny ideas or suggestions for these cards, feel free to leave a comment. I'll definitely be reading them all, and I'll kind of consider them fair use for whatever it is that we're making here, and we'll see where this goes. I'm really excited to keep messing around with this. And then I guess I have to end this with the classic YouTube stuff. So don't forget to click that watch later button and smash the search bar